This year is finally coming to a close, and it's been a fairly good year for mobile gaming. Numbers are a little bit down, making this one of the first years that less people are playing mobile games, but it is still by far the biggest gaming platform on Earth. The problem, of course, is that there are too many games to choose from, so here is our list of the top games for 2025. The first game on our list is Shogun Showdown, a turn-based tactical roguelike deck builder. Combat unfolds on a compact grid where positioning, timing, and awareness of enemy intent are critical. The combat system is built around chaining attacks into effective combos. As runs progress, new abilities and artifacts expand your options, while procedural generation ensures that encounters and layouts rarely feel repetitive. The gameplay loop is addictive, the turn-based combat is decently paced, and it is one of the best roguelike games available and a definite S-tier title. However, because the only way to play this game is through Crunchyroll Vault, I have to push it down to A-tier. Dredge is another great mobile port which blends fishing, exploration, and mystery into a tense maritime adventure. Set in the isolated Maros archipelago, it challenges you to captain a trawler through treacherous waters, uncovering hidden secrets and eerie dangers. The gameplay revolves around upgrading your vessel, completing quests, and catching over 125 unique sea creatures. Each island offers distinct characters, stories, and environments. Nightfall brings a shift in tone. The fog cloaks dangers, from sharp rocks to something far more sinister lurking in the darkness. It's a must-try and a solid S-tier game. Greak is another great title, a hand-drawn puzzle platformer centered on exploration, problem-solving, and quiet storytelling. The narrative follows three siblings separated by an invasion that has fractured their homeland. Progress depends on switching between the siblings, each with distinct abilities that are required to navigate environments, overcome obstacles, and unlock new areas. Their interactions form the foundation of both the gameplay and the story. The combat could use some more work, and not so great mobile controls don't help it either. It fits best in the B tier. Exoloper is a portrait shooter throwing you into mech combat with 10-meter exosuits and no time to waste. Terrain isn't just for looks, everything explodes, collapses, or gets torn apart depending on your loadout. Cities, forests, and wastelands react to every missile and stomp, with day and weather shifts adding extra chaos. Campaign missions take you across your shattered homeworld to drive out the Commonwealth. You clear enemy forces from industrial zones or backwoods territory, one firefight at a time. Every mission becomes a risk, win big or lose your loot if you don't make it to extraction. The game is a lot of fun and very much a hidden gem. I'd put it in a B tier. Lost in Fantaland is a roguelite strategy deck builder that emphasizes thoughtful decision making and long-term planning. Each run unfolds differently due to randomly generated maps, battlefields, and encounters. The multi-card play system adds depth by allowing players to chain actions within a single turn, rewarding careful sequencing and planning. It's a good deck builder, so another B tier. Songs of Conquest Mobile is a turn-based strategy game where you command wielders, powerful magic users, to lead armies, conquer lands, and build kingdoms. Combat is tactical and strategic, requiring careful positioning, spellcasting, and army composition. City building adds depth, letting players manage resources, construct buildings, and recruit troops. Choices impact strategy, whether focusing on military power, magical dominance, or economic control. It's a very well-made strategy game and a definite S-tier title. Wall of Insanity 2 is a third-person shooter set in a hostile dimension beyond reality, defined by decay, isolation, and a constant sense of threat. You assume the role of the sole surviving officer after a failed police raid on a cult leads the squad into a supernatural trap. Combat is more active than before, with smarter and more aggressive enemies pushing you to play carefully. Resources are limited, so every bullet, heal, and movement choice matters. Environmental storytelling plays a major role, supported by cutscenes, dialogue, and collectible diaries that reveal the tragic fate of the missing squad. Another B-tier title, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, reworks the original series into a single-player top-down auto shooter, while keeping the focus on mining, danger, and steady pressure from hostile creatures. One dwarf enters the caves of Hoxes with basic tools and a clear goal to complete mission objectives, gather resources, and survive long enough to reach extraction. Weapons fire automatically, so attention shifts toward movement, positioning, and equipment upgrades. It's a good bullet heaven title, and I'd put it in B tier. Monument Valley 3 is another game which until recently was also part of the Netflix library, but now is available as a standalone title. It's a calm puzzle game that builds on the series' signature style while introducing new ideas. The game follows Noor, a young apprentice, as she travels through a world defined by shifting architecture, rising tides, and impossible geometry. Puzzles are built around perspective manipulation, gravity shifts, and structural transformation. Sailing introduces a new layer to exploration, with Nor's boat serving as both a means of travel and an integral puzzle mechanic. Unlike previous titles, the game is quite easy and very short. It's still a decent title, however, and I think C tier would be appropriate. Planet of Lana is a narrative-driven puzzle adventure where you play as Lana, a young girl traveling across a hand-painted sci-fi world after her home is disrupted by an unfamiliar force. Landscapes feel calm but uneasy, with machines and creatures reshaping places that once felt balanced. Gameplay centers on environmental puzzles, platforming, and stealth. Lana is accompanied by Moi, a responsive animal companion whose abilities are essential to solving puzzles and overcoming obstacles. It is a rather short but great platformer and very much of a hidden gem. Some puzzles do get frustrating at times, but even then, I would place it in A tier. Crashlands 2 is the sequel to the well-received survival RPG Crashlands. Building on the foundation laid by its predecessor, Crashlands 2 introduces a host of new mechanics, enhanced graphics that maintain the original's distinctive visual style, and an array of additional features. You return to Wanope as Flux Dave, navigating an alien world full of quirky creatures, lively ecosystems, and intriguing stories. Combat in Crashlands 2 offers endless variety. Craft gadgets, mix elixirs, and use traps, stealth, or ranged weapons to suit your playstyle. It improves on the original in nearly every way, so I'll place it in the A tier. Sniper Elite 4 is the mobile port of the tactical World War II sniping experience. You step into the role of Carl Fairburn, a covert agent and elite marksman who must collaborate with the Italian resistance to defeat a formidable new enemy threatening the Allied efforts in Europe. The game's expansive sandbox campaign offers hours of gameplay packed with high-ranking Nazi officers to eliminate, sniper nests to uncover, and hidden objectives to complete. Another great title, but only available for iPhone 15 Pro and above. With Sniper Elite 5 mobile port just around the corner, I'd place it in the B tier. INMOST is a puzzle platformer told through 3 characters whose stories are interwoven into a single somber narrative. Each character introduces a different gameplay approach, ranging from careful exploration to stealth and controlled combat, while maintaining a consistent tone throughout the game. The world is centered on a decaying castle and its connected environments, encouraging methodical exploration and attention to detail. The game lasts about 3 hours, which is rather short, but it's a good pixel art platformer, so I'll place it in B tier. Vampire's Fall 2 is an open-world RPG with turn-based combat. Movement and combat exist in a single continuous space, allowing battles to begin directly within the world. The design emphasizes player agency as enemies are visible and fights are entered by choice. Progression follows a traditional RPG model with leveling, gear upgrades, and build specialization. It's a good old school RPG and fits B tier. Moco is a co-op monster hunting game where you take on the role of hunters fighting off chaos monsters from parallel worlds, using an arsenal of weapons, gadgets, and abilities. Hunts are quick and flexible, letting you jump in for short sessions or team up for longer battles. Multiplayer is a big focus with cooperative boss fights, open world events, and even competitive modes like free-for-alls and 10v10 battles. While the game had a strong start, the gameplay remains very repetitive with no real endgame. It's unfortunate as it had great potential, but I have to place it in the D tier. Astrea is a roguelike deck building game that distinguishes itself by replacing cards with dice and by centering its design on deliberate risk management. Progress is defined by the dual system of purification and corruption. Purification damages enemies or restores health, while corruption empowers abilities at the cost of self-harm. Success depends on knowing when to accept danger in order to unlock stronger effects without losing control. Sometimes the game can get a bit overwhelming with information, and its over-stylized design doesn't help. It's still a great game, however, with an interesting take on the genre, so I'd place it in the A tier. Grand Mountain Adventure 2 is an open-world skiing and snowboarding game with massive explorable ski resorts. Ride the lifts, navigate crowded slopes or untouched backcountry, and discover secret spots hidden in the mountains. The non-linear design lets you carve your own path, whether you stick to the piste or venture off trail. Realistic mountain environments include changing conditions, wind, snowfall, avalanches, and a day-night cycle. It's a great sequel and a B-tier title. No Way Home is a twin-stick shooter by SMG Studio with fast combat, sharp movement, and a strong sense of momentum. Set in a dangerous corner of space, you take on enemies in open environments, using cover, positioning, and timing to survive. The game's procedural universe blends handcrafted missions and events with random generated generation, making each run feel distinct but intentional. A solid B-tier title. World of Goo 2 is a thoughtfully designed puzzle game that builds on the strengths of its predecessor. You construct bridges, towers, and other structures using various types of goo balls, each with unique properties. Some stretch or stick, others shrink, explode, or interact with fire and liquid in unexpected ways. Each level presents new mechanical challenges while pushing players to think creatively within limited resources. Another B-tier title. ThroneFall is a tower defense strategy game where you build and defend a tiny kingdom. You start with just your castle, a bit of gold, and a bunch of empty land. Build a mill for income, drop some walls or towers, then prepare for nightfall. Enemies pour in from all sides and you have to defend with whatever you manage to build. You fight alongside your troops using a sword or bow, depending on how you spec your build. Each night gets harder. Each day you rebuild, adjust your strategy, and try again. It is just a fantastic tower defense game, and it does everything very well. An easy S tier. PowerWash Simulator is a calm and structured game centered on restoration through careful cleaning. Each task presents an environment layered with dirt, grime, or decay, and the objective is simply to remove it completely. There is no timer, score, or penalty for experimenting. Unfortunately, the game is locked behind Apple Arcade subscription, and the mobile port isn't very good. I'd have to place it in C tier. Phantom Tower is a fast-paced action roguelike that blends RPG mechanics with a focused floor-by-floor progression system. The goal is to climb through all 100 levels of the tower, each one more dangerous than the last. Combat is driven by elemental interactions. Each class has access to different elements, and combining them can trigger powerful reactions. It's a great dungeon crawler and a good free-to-play experience. I give it a B tier. Ninth Dawn Remake is an open-world RPG built around fast dungeon crawling and non-stop loot. It keeps the old-school feel of the original from 2012, but upgrades everything. Bigger dungeons, better story, quicker gameplay. The world is massive, with over 45 handcrafted dungeons full of traps, bosses, and secrets. The quest starts simple, track down a missing lighthouse keeper, but opens into a full campaign to stop an ancient evil. Another B tier. Is This Seat Taken is a relaxed logic puzzle game built around observation and social awareness. Each level asks you to place people in seats that fit their personal preferences. Small details matter. Factors such as noise, personal space, sin, and social comfort determine whether a placement succeeds. Puzzles progress at a measured pace and avoid unnecessary complexity. There are no timers, scores, or competitive elements, allowing players to focus entirely on problem solving. It's a very charming game, and I'd put it in B tier. Astiar RPG is an isometric ARPG rooted in classic Diablo-style design. The experience focuses on deliberate combat, careful character building, and a loot system that values long-term progression over instant rewards. Each descent into hostile environments demands attention to positioning, skill timing, and enemy behavior rather than mindless rushing. The game is still in early development with bugs here and there, but it has the potential to become one of the best old-school ARPG on mobile. I'd place it in the A tier. Final Outpost Definitive is a survival-focused strategy game that puts you in charge of a small settlement during a zombie apocalypse. Your goal is to build and expand an outpost while managing limited resources, protecting civilians, and surviving the harsh conditions of a world that's completely collapsed. Weather and seasons impact your strategy. Winter makes farming harder. Thunderstorms and droughts force you to shift priorities. It's a decent survival game, though does get repetitive after a while and takes a somewhat linear approach to strategy. I'd have to place it in C tier. Next up is Fly Punch Boom, which captures the chaotic energy of anime battles and cranks it to absurd levels. This over-the-top fighting game lets you smash, fling, and destroy everything in sight, from planets to skyscrapers, in fast-paced matches packed with ridiculous humor and wild visuals. Though it doesn't really excel at anything, it's still a fun game, and I think C tier would be fair. TMNT Shredder's Revenge is a fast, retro-style beat-em-up built for quick action. You play as a turtle or side character, with each character having their own fighting style, animations, and special moves, keeping the gameplay fresh across more than a dozen stages. The pixel art looks great, packed with color and detail that channels the 80s cartoon. The story mode has a new plot, but it sticks close to the tone of the original show. It's an all-around great beat-em-up and an easy A tier. OnirO is an action RPG built around fast combat and steady progression. It takes cues from older hack-and-slash games without copying their excess. Progression is driven by a deep multi-class system built around an interconnected skill tree. You can unlock and combine numerous classes, shaping characters through shared abilities and passive bonuses. It's a decent ARPG, but it leaves a lot to be desired compared to its predecessor, Anima, which is still the superior game. I'd place it in C tier. Besiege Mobile is a physics-based building game that lets you make machines and see if they actually work. You start with basic blocks and slowly learn how weight force and balance behave. The goal is simple: break things, reach targets. Do not fall apart first. The campaign provides clear objectives across destructible levels, which gently teach mechanics while encouraging wild ideas. Sandbox modes remove restrictions entirely and turn the game into a testing ground for imagination. It's a very fun game, though it can become a bit repetitive. Still, I'd place it in A tier. Timelie is a stealth puzzle adventure built around precise planning and clear cause and effect. The core idea treats time like a media player. Pause, rewind, and fast-forward reveal outcomes before they happen. This turns trial and error into informed decision-making rather than guesswork. You alternate between a young girl with foresight and a clever cat with unique movement options. Enemy paths, hazards, and puzzles must be solved by aligning both characters on a shared timeline. It's a very nice puzzle platformer and fits B tier. Rift is a strategy-focused tower defense game where the core loop centers on jumping between rifts, defending territory, and adapting to enemy behavior rather than reacting to pure chaos. Towers feel distinct, with clear roles and upgrade paths that reward planning instead of constant adjustment. Monsters behave differently across scenarios, forcing changes in placement and loadout choices rather than repeating the same solution. It's a great game and even supports portrait mode, though touch controls could use more work. Another B tier title. Dicefolk is a tactical roguelite where the core loop centers on recruiting and commanding chimera while shaping outcomes through fully customizable dice. You play as Aaliyah, a young summoner who discovers the ability to befriend these creatures and stand against forces threatening humanity. Control over turn order and dice faces allows you to guide each encounter with intent, giving battles a measured and thoughtful pace. The dice system is the defining feature. Instead of reacting to random rolls, you shape them, creating a sense of fairness and agency that sets the game apart within the genre. It's a solid roguelite dungeon crawler, though it does get repetitive over time. I give it a B tier. Planet Cube Edge is a fast-paced action platformer built around precision movement and constant momentum. The game places you in a hostile underwater research complex where speed, timing, and awareness matter more than patience. Movement feels deliberate, with running, jumping, dashing, and shooting woven together into compact challenge sequences that reward clean execution. Combat blends naturally into platforming, encouraging aggressive forward motion rather than cautious play. It's a decent title, but the touch controls aren't very good and controller support is limited, so I'd have to put it in C tier. Delta Force is a team-based tactical shooter with massive battles and modern mechanics. Players can engage in 48-player warfare across sprawling maps with destructible environments, dozens of weapons, and customizable roles like combat medic or assault specialist. Operations mode brings a high-stakes extraction shooter experience where three-person squads face off against AI mercenaries, bosses, and rival teams. Unfortunately, the game, while good, is plagued by hackers and there's still no controller support. I'd place it in the C tier. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a 2D platformer where you play as Sargon, slicing through cursed creatures and dodging traps in a massive Persian-inspired world filled with secrets. It leans hard into Metroidvania with unlockable powers, puzzle platforming, and backtracking that feels rewarding. Combat mixes quick slashes with time powers and skill-based dodges. You can chain combos, use special moves, and shift around enemies in ways that keep battles from going stale. Time powers aren't just flashy, they're woven into how you fight and explore. It's one of the best Metroidvania available on mobile, and a S tier title. Cat Quest 3 is an action RPG that blends lighthearted charm with mechanical depth. The setting shifts to the Persia, a pirate-themed archipelago built for exploration rather than excess scale. Short objectives keep momentum steady and reduce fatigue. Dungeons are compact and focused. It's a decent title, but it feels like a sequel for the sake of making a sequel, and in some aspects feels like a step backward compared to earlier entries. While it sits closer to C tier in terms of quality, I'd still put it in D tier. That may feel harsh, but the game is fairly expensive for what it offers compared to its predecessor. Subnautica is a story-driven underwater survival game set on an alien ocean planet. After crash landing, you're left alone to explore, survive, and uncover the planet's secrets. The world is fully open and entirely underwater, filled with coral reefs, thermal vents, deep-sea caverns, and bioluminescent life. From the first dive, the game builds a strong sense of isolation and discovery. Environmental storytelling is a major part of the experience. You'll find wreckage, data logs, and clues pointing to the fate of previous visitors and the truth behind your crash. It's an excellent mobile port of an amazing survival game. An easy S tier, Build is a short and relaxing environmental cleanup game focused on simple interaction and quiet progression. The core loop centers on cleaning ocean waste, recycling materials, and earning coins to improve a small boat. Each upgrade allows access to larger areas with more demanding cleanup tasks. The game unfolds across 8 distinct areas that gradually increase in size and difficulty. Spills become larger and waste more varied, which adds light structure without disrupting the relaxed tone. Playtime is intentionally limited to around 1 hour, but the level selector makes it easy to revisit any area at any time. Another B-tier title. Islanders Mobile offers a calm and thoughtful take on city building that focuses on placement rather than management. Each session begins with a fresh island and a small set of buildings. Points are earned by placing structures near compatible ones, which encourages planning without overwhelming the player. The design is clean and simple. Colors are soft, shapes are easy to read. Procedurally generated islands ensure that no 2 runs feel the same while keeping the rules easy to understand. It's a very nice and relaxing city builder, and I'd place it in the A tier. I Am Your Beast is a fast-paced first-person shooter where you engage in a high-stakes covert revenge thriller as Alphonse Harding, a retired secret agent forced into a brutal guerrilla war against the Covert Operations Initiative. Turn the tables on your enemies using their own gear, crafting ingenious traps, and exploiting a network of hidden tunnels. Superhuman abilities like rapid tree climbing and devastating headshots add a fast-paced edge to the action. The campaign spans 20+ levels with comic book-inspired visuals and has very fun gunplay. Another easy A tier. The last game on the list is Astris, which is an honorable mention since it didn't come out this year, but I still think it's worth mentioning. It's a paid 3D sci-fi RPG showcasing stunning visuals and engaging gameplay. You'll play as Jan, an investigator from Earth, tasked with exploring the vibrant world of Alindo. One of the standout features of Astris is its innovative combat system, which combines elements of both real-time and turn-based gameplay. Players have the opportunity to time their attacks strategically, allowing for counter maneuvers and devastating combo attacks alongside allies. Each character in the game boasts its own unique backstory and set of skills, adding depth to both the narrative and gameplay experience. Unlike traditional RPGs that rely heavily on random battles and grinding, Astris offers a more streamlined progression system that emphasizes skillful gameplay over mindless repetition. It's a bit of a unicorn in mobile gaming, and I haven't seen anything like it this year, which is why I wanted to mention it. A very easy S tier.
Well, that's it, guys. Hope that helped. If you were wondering why certain games aren't on here, you should check out some of our other lists. We've been making top 10 lists for this year all year long. As the years progressed, we have focused on different games based on which games have hype. Here's our playlist of all of those videos. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.